it's me. Tell me something. Do you have a problem with your ears? Or is there something wrong with your head? Excuse me? What the heck is leading you to say something so hurtful and rude? What's the matter? I'm asking, what the hell is wrong with you that you can't even remember anything I ask you to do? How many times have I told you? When doing laundry, reuse the bathtub water. All you have to do is scoop the water out of the tub, put it in the washing machine, and then set it to spin. How can you be so wasteful and just let perfectly good water go down the drain like that? You have water sitting in the washing machine, but why is there no water in the bathtub? My son has always gotten a bath every evening ever since he was a baby. There is no way he would skip it. Are you really just throwing away the bathwater every time? How wasteful! Besides all that water, do you have any idea the money you are wasting? Water, electric, gas. Don't you know how important it is to savor all of these and not waste them? My goodness, your utility bills must be atrocious! Sylvia, I'm sorry, but I've already told you. I am not going to follow your advice this time. I understand that it is important to save resources not only for the planet, but also to keep our utility bills lower, but reusing bathwater for laundry is a bit too much. Yes, Mike still takes a bath every night, but that water is not as clean as you think, Sylvia. It has body soap, shampoo, and most importantly, dirt and dead skin in it. It's disgusting to just let it sit overnight and then reuse it to wash our clothes. No, thank you. Not to mention, it's a ridiculous thing to ask to bring the water from upstairs to the washing machine downstairs. That would take hours. Huh! Oh, okay, I see. You're not even the one who works his butt off every day so that you can even have a use of those utilities. So what's it matter to you, right? Here you are sitting on your butt every day with no job, stealing and wasting away my son's hard-earned money. Yet you have the nerve to talk back to me. You should just shut your trap and do as I say. It's not like you have any children to take care of. All you do is sit around all day at the house my son is single-handedly paying for, or you go and play around with the gaggle of geese you call your friends. Why don't you get off your lazy butt and go get a part-time job at Walmart or something? If I had known that you would turn out to be such an ungrateful, good-for-nothing leech of a daughter-in-law, I would have never allowed my son to marry you. And the groceries! The refrigerator in that house is friggin' overflowing with things to eat, including the meals that I cooked and prepared specially by hand for my son. But still, you continue to go buying that unhealthy, processed, fattening crap at that overpriced high-end grocery store across the street. And by the way, we all know you for sure don't need that crap, Porky. At least when you actually do need to get a necessity like milk or something, go to the cheap farmer's market across the street and save some money for once. You'll be sorry one of these days when you realize you should have been listening to me and taking my advice all this time. Didn't your mother ever tell you these things? It's a mother's responsibility to teach their girls these basic rules and procedures of living and wifehood especially. Instead, it looks like all your parents did was teach you how to study, go to college, steal a man on campus, let him get a job, and then waste all of his money while he breaks his back working. Sylvia, there are certain foods we both don't like. We aren't going to force ourselves to eat food in the fridge that might make us both sick to our stomachs. And as for grocery shopping, there are also certain foods that you can't find at the local farmer's market. Believe me, I have not been ignoring all of your advice and suggestions for a living. I mean, it's not like I could even if I tried. By the way, I am pretty sure I have already asked you hundreds of times to stop barging into our home uninvited and unannounced at all hours of the day and night. Please go get a hobby or something and let us have our own lives. Did you break into our house again today while I wasn't home? Break in? Mike gave me a spare key. How dare you accuse me of breaking in? Anyway, you think I actually wanted to go to that dirty, underkept pigsty again because I enjoy the stench? I didn't want to go there. I needed to look for the necklace my daughter gave to me for my birthday. It's missing. There's no way your necklace would be at our house. Huh! You don't remember. When I was there last week, you saw me wearing it and said it was so pretty. I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt for once, and believe that you wouldn't be so low as to steal it from me. So I went to your house to confirm that I was correct in believing that you wouldn't have been so shameless. What? Are you serious? You actually thought that I might have stolen it from you? I was hoping that I would not find it here, but while thinking of where in the world you might have put it, I just realized that I had left it at my house. I was worried that you might try to steal it, so I purposely didn't wear it again and left it in my wardrobe when I came here yesterday. Wow. You really have lost all your marbles, haven't you? Well, if you hadn't said what you said while staring so greedily at my necklace that day, I wouldn't have gotten the wrong idea in the first place. And you say that I've lost it? Do you have any idea how senile you've been acting? Every time I come to your house, whether it's an earring, a bracelet, or even an expensive necklace that my Mike must have slaved away at the office to get for you, there's always some piece of jewelry laying out around the house. There was even a bracelet on the floor in the bathroom next to the toilet plunger. How can you not have any concern for these assets that my son has provided for you? Are you actually that ungrateful, or are you just completely out of your mind? I guess it must be so easy for you to go ahead and waste money like that and ruin such expensive things because you've never worked a real job for even a single hour of your life. Isn't that the reason? Is my precious son just a slave to you? Actually, Sylvia, Mike has never once bought me any jewelry besides my engagements and wedding rings, and I am always wearing and cherishing those. The truth is, I bought all of my other jewelry for myself. So stop going so overboard, please. Oh, really? How dare you talk back at me like that, and now you have the nerve to lie to me, too! You're just a lazy, wasteful housewife with no job or any motivation to do any good with your life. How the heck could you buy those things with your own money? You don't have any money that you could even say is your own. You will never change your ways. And while you should have been cleaning, doing laundry, and cooking for my son, where were you? Is that where you were this morning? You're telling me that you were actually out somewhere selfishly buying those things for yourself again today. No, Sylvia. I had something important I needed to take care of, so I stepped out for a bit. Huh! How is that so? What in the world could be so important for a worthless housewife like you to do? You know, Sylvia, you keep making housewife sound like such a terrible job. But have you not always been a full-time housewife yourself? That's all you've ever been all your life. Yet you are saying that I am such a terrible daughter-in-law for being a housewife. Exactly what you are, too. So how are you so high and mighty to be critiquing how I am living my life? I got married 30 years ago. When I was your age, it was already predetermined for all women to be housewives after marrying. Back then, there was no choice. But now, most husbands and wives work separate full-time jobs out of the house and make their own money for themselves, instead of stealing it from each other. You even went to college for 4 years. Can you honestly tell me that you are content letting your degree and thousands of paid tuition money go to waste? All of your college friends, including the married ones, are still out working hard at their jobs and earning their own money. And then there you are, lazing around the house all day like some pesky termite waiting for my son to come home with more of his hard-earned money for you to steal. What? Pesky termite? You're not even my biological mother, and this is my life. So why should I have to live it as you tell me to? And it's not like you're the one who paid for me to go to college and get my degree. That has nothing to do with you. Actually, none of this has anything to do with you at all. Do you really have nothing to do all day that must always be on my back and making such a ridiculous fuss about everything? And you know what? Mike is a grown man now too, so get off of his back and stop driving him crazy too. If you continue to constantly hover around and suffocate us like this, I can't guarantee I won't do something crazy myself. So please give it a rest already, at least for your own son's sake. Oh my goodness. Well, look at you showing your true colors and speaking to your mother-in-law in such a vulgar manner. Your words are so frightening, I've got goosebumps and I'm shaking in my shoes. Sylvia, seriously, come on. I'm not joking. And get out of my house. You better not be there by the time I get back. Okay. I'm leaving now. Sheesh! Such deplorable manners. Hey, Sylvia. The cookies you bought for us arrived today. Thank you. I'm sure we'll enjoy them. They look delicious. Oh, heavens, no! Those cookies aren't for you. They're for my Mikey, and Mikey only. My Mikey always loved those cookies when he was a child. He's been working so hard every time, the poor thing. So I went to the bakery 2 hours away and got them just for him. They're absolutely not for you. You better not lay a finger on those cookies and go pig out on something else, Porky. I went through a lot ordering those cookies. What the hell? Are you serious? They're cookies. Are you really going to be that petty about cookies? So you stopped squawking, got up off of your bum, and drove for a few hours? How is that so amazing? You can probably find cookies that taste just like these at any other store. How dare you! Those cookies are incomparable! And I had a very hard time finding that store. Do you think you can treat those cookies that I bought for my precious sum the same as any other ones? Just as you treat your own jewelry as insignificant. And how dare you wait all day to let me know that you received them? I know for a fact that they arrived this morning. It is now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Have you really no sense at all? Didn't your parents teach you that you should thank someone for a gift as soon as you receive it? How rude. I was at the salon this morning when they arrived. I didn't get home until a couple hours ago. Mike was home when they were delivered, so I figured he already thanked you this morning. What? You expect a man to think of doing that? This kind of thing is for the woman of the house to do. This is my son's day off. He should be relaxing. I can't believe you are throwing responsibilities and giving him your work to do on his day off. My poor, precious, hardworking son. It breaks my heart that he ended up with such a lazy, good-for-nothing like you. He must be a saint for giving a wench like you a chance. Those married couples who both have their own full-time jobs are always so financially well off, they don't have to worry one bit about money. Why did my son of all people have to get stuck with a deadbeat like you throwing away all his fortune? Even today is a great example of how useless and dim-witted you are. You say you went to the salon. Why the heck would a full-time housewife like you need to get her hair and nails done? All you do is laze around the house all day. Just do your own nails and put your hair up in a ponytail or cut that yourself too. Why are you wasting such precious money on all that crap? Oh, here you go, calling the kettle black again. You go to the salon once a month to get your hair dyed and permed. Oh, you're such a hypocrite. Your own husband is in his late 50s now and on his feet every day and night working as a security guard when he should be planning his retirement soon. And you not only go to the salon once a month, but on trips and outings with that herd of middle-aged hags you hang out with all the time. So what the hell gives you the right to treat me this way all the time? Do you seriously think you are any better than I am? You seriously think you can do no wrong, don't you? What makes you so righteous and holy? There was also a time when you yourself were someone's daughter-in-law. Did you think you became some royal highness after your own mother-in-law passed away? You are so delusional. Did your own mother-in-law tease you and drive you crazy, so now you're taking pleasure in doing the same to me? You're not a mother-in-law. You're a frickin' monster-in-law. Do you think of your mother-in-law every time you see me? So you expect me to put up with your ridiculous behavior as you did with your own mother-in-laws. Most mothers-in-law leave rings, money, or even their own house for their daughters-in-law in their wills. But I already know very well that the only things you'll leave for me is all of your obnoxious nagging and idiotic housekeeping advice. I guess you don't have much to say for your own life. You've lived 60 years, but what honorable things have you ever done yourself? All you've ever really done is drive everyone around you insane and stress them all out to the point where you always get your own way and think they actually like you. Really, they are just sick and tired of dealing with your hysterical crap when you don't get what you want. What did you say? Have you lost your mind? How dare you speak like that to me? You worthless beggar! You go back to your own pack of worthless freeloaders and get out of my son's house this instant! I will no longer sit back and allow a rude, ungrateful, and penniless leech like you to continue being my daughter-in-law. And I will be making sure that everyone in the family is aware of what you've said and done to me, and that you will be divorcing and leaving this family as soon as possible. You've really barked up the wrong tree this time, tramp! You better get your sorry ass and your worthless trash out of my son's house right now! Who the hell do you think you are? Do you really think that you control everything, even whether or not I stay married to your son? You seriously need a shrink, lady. And by the way, if anyone should be packing up and leaving this house right now, it's your son. The lazy, unmotivated, worthless jerk with no passion is not at all the hardworking, noble son you think he is, Sylvia. I can't believe how you still coddle him and treat him like he's such a wonderful golden child. I'm surprised you don't come over here and wipe his bum every time he takes a dump. What are you going on about? You have some nerve talking about my son that way. You better apologize right now. And you better beg and pray that I don't tell Mike what you just said about him either. If you don't, there's absolutely no way you can ever expect to be let back into that house or family again. You better start begging me for one more chance this instant. And you better start being grateful for all the money my son has been earning for you. How do you expect to survive on your own without my son's support? You know nothing. Your son can't even support himself right now. You would do yourself much better, Sylvia, if you'd stop babbling on ridiculously for once and actually see what's going on around you. Your son doesn't even have a job. What? My son? No way. What do you mean he doesn't have a job? What kind of web are you trying to spin now? Then where has he been all day every weekday? He's never there when I stop by. He's such a coward. He's been too afraid to face you since then. He suddenly decided that he wanted to quit his job and become an artist. He's been going out with a pen and sketchbook and spending all day every day at the park. This has been going on for the past 2 years. What? He quit his job to become an artist? That's ridiculous. I forbade him to try doing that back before he even went to college. There's no way he would disobey me. Suddenly he came to me one day and told me how frustrated and unhappy he was with his life. He said he had always wanted to become an artist his entire life, ever since he was a kid. He asked me to support him and his dream so desperately he even started crying. He also had no clue that I have been working from home this entire time. I took advantage of what I learned at the company I worked at before our marriage and decided to start my own business remotely so that I could support your son and his dream. But only a month after he quit his job, he started whining about having to do all the housework himself. So for the past 2 years, he's been leaving the housework and breadwinning for me to do every day while he goes to the park and doodles on his sketchbook. As this continued on, I have tried to continue supporting him and his dream. I've even said nothing to you about this all this time because he asked me not to. But I have gotten so fed up and burned out. I can't take it anymore. I think the right thing for me to do now is for me to take care of myself and move on without him. Do you really expect me to believe all that? You and I both know for a fact that my son bought that house. He told me all the time how sick and tired he was of you always asking him to do chores around the house. Was all that really a lie? Do you think my son would actually lie to me like that? Why would my son ever think he would need to lie to me or keep me from knowing about something? It's obvious, isn't it? He didn't want his own mother to be embarrassed of him. Isn't it so embarrassing that not long after we got married, he suddenly became jobless and I became the main breadwinner? He's the one who has been using all of the money I earn and eating all of the food I buy. Wouldn't you be embarrassed and ashamed too if you were him? He lied because he was embarrassed and ashamed and scared of what you'd say and do if you found out. You have no idea everyone is always trying to avoid your nagging as much as possible. You know what your son said? He said that you never worked a day in your life outside the home and only had to focus on raising one child as well. He said you had one responsibility to lead one child in the right direction and you couldn't even handle that. He told me that, instead, you led him to follow a path he never really wanted to take, and look! He still jumped off of it in the end. Now he's just depressed and making himself seem worthless in the process. You have never actually paid attention to what your son really wants. And for years now, you've gone on and critiqued the way my parents raised me. Like an idiot. You had no idea how awful your own parenting skills have always been. Do you know how much I wanted to sew up those ignorant blabbering lips of yours so that I didn't have to make an effort to tune you out anymore? And I'm sure I'm not the only one around who's had the burning urge to do that. You little witch. Are you enjoying yourself right now? You're probably barely even making breadcrumbs, and here you are boasting about it. You think I still don't see you as a gold-digging leech? You married my son back when you thought he'd be making big money, didn't you? Sure, fine, you're the main breadwinner for now, but do you really think it will all be that way? You'll be sorry when my son starts making more than you again. For the record, Sylvia, I've been making at least $20,000 monthly. Compared to what I've been making, your son is the one who used to make breadcrumbs. I don't think he'll be making more than I do anytime soon. Do you know that your son's annual salary used to be only $40,000? I make more than that in 2 months' time. And do you really think a man who quit his job and has been unemployed for more than 2 years would be able to even get a job like the one he had before? He might as well try and make pigs fly. My goodness! How can you talk like that about your own husband? You chose to marry the man yourself, and you talk like he has no potential. Does talking like that about your own husband make you feel so high and mighty about yourself? Have you not heard that parents should always do their best to cover up their son's faults? Well, that's what I tried to do. What fault? Wanting to be an artist? That was not a fault. The reality is that your son had no faults to begin with. You're the one who created them with your terrible so-called parenting method of trying to squash his dreams and aspirations early. What did you just say? You think I messed up my own son? How ridiculous! I'll divorce your precious son and send him back to his precious mommy. I hope you enjoy having a helpless baby in the house again for the first time in 3 years. Maybe you'll do a better job at raising him this time. All right, fine. That's fine. I never supported your marriage, but I fully support this divorce. But you better share whatever money you made with him. You know that my son has the right to receive half of the assets. Oh dear, what'll we do? I don't think that'll be possible. At the beginning of our marriage, we both signed a prenuptial agreement. What I earn is mine, and what he earns is his. So, by law, I don't have to give him a single penny of what I earn myself. You did what? Actually, quite ironically, the entire thing was his idea. At the time, I was so naive that I didn't realize he probably didn't trust me and wanted to keep all of his money for himself. But look how the tables have turned. I ended up being the one having my hard-earned money used by him. I fed him, clothed him, and gave him the money to get all of his friggin' art supplies, too. He must have figured I'd never have any assets he would want or need from me. Oh, but to be honest, even if you all wanted to split my assets and run with them, I won't have much for you to steal for the next few months anyway. You see, I recently helped my little brother pay for his wedding ceremony in Barbados and also bought a newly built house for my parents. So it'll be a few months before my savings are back up above $500,000 again. What? Look at you bragging! Your head is so big, I'm surprised it hasn't exploded by now. How conceited and selfish you are! And how could you be such a traitor to your in-laws? Really? I had no idea you were so shameless. Huh, the only person I've ever betrayed is myself for continuing to feed and stay married to such an ungrateful pig for the past 3 years. Well, anyway, I'm done and tired of talking about all this crap. I'll do the honors of packing up all of your son's crap and leaving it out on the front yard. So, you'll be a dear and come pick it up for your little boy, won't you? After that, I went right to packing up all of my now ex-husband's junk and throwing it out the window and into the front yard. I figured the crazy witch might have really lost her marbles from the shock she experienced during our phone call, so I also went ahead and changed the passwords for the security locks on the front and back doors as well. Sylvia called a few days later saying that Mike is going to get another full-time job at the same company while begging me to take him back. I couldn't believe she would really think that I'd even consider taking him back. After 2 years of watching him let himself become a loathing, freeloading bum, after how I supported him, yet he did nothing for me in return. Not a chance. So I continued to file for the divorce without hesitating one bit, and it was, of course, finalized without a single hiccup. I've got to say, I am really enjoying being sexy, free, and single again. I don't have to listen to some old hag ignorantly nagging at me anymore, and I can just focus on advancing my own career and living a life just for me and my own family. Really, this is the happiest I've ever been. And my business continues to grow without a single setback. While I've tried to ignore rumors regarding my husband and his deadbeat family, there was one rumor I couldn't help taking note of. Apparently, the louse has completely become a layabout around his parents' home with not a single thought of getting a steady job again. Instead, he has proceeded in following his own mother's footsteps and mooching off of the salary his poor aging father continues to break his back over making for them. I guess he might continue doing that for a while longer. Or, hey, maybe he'll even keep it up for the rest of his life. All I can say is it's a pathetic way for a human being to exist. And I count my lucky stars every day that I was blessed with having enough self-love, confidence, and brains to finally get myself out of that miserable situation. Thanks so much for listening to my story. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to share with us your thoughts and reactions in the comment section below. Do you prefer the shorter stories like this one, or maybe some of the more longer ones we've been putting out? See you next time!